I'm Teboho Stephen Langa. I'm a South African contemporary figurative painter. I was born in Pretoria, raised in Mpumalanga, and I went to school in Limpopo. So migration has always been part of my life from a very young age. I was very young. I remember there was Dragon Ball Z. So I used to draw all the characters. Yeah, so that's actually my earliest artistic memory. And my father used to draw me, because that's how I also actually learned how to become an artist, So I think it's a family and heritage thing that we actually grew up on. So talent is something that my family always loved doing. What is my turning point in my career so far? Showing in Nigeria is actually my turning point, and showing a different aspect of how my work is actually being developed, and the research that I got. And just traveling also helps you to understand the world, in a different perspective. So that's another influence that can turn your career into something else, Yeah. Who's been my greatest artistic influence? There's a lot of lists. But I'm going to start off with the old masters. Let me say Vincent van Gogh. I love his line works, so that's actually one of my inspirations. That's why I do a lot of lines. Ibanez, Gerald Sukoto, George Pemba, because they have a very realistic influence that they're bringing into society and the community. So that's actually one of my greatest influential artists ever. How do I describe my artistic style? I use a lot of different mediums. That's what I can say. And work with charcoal, oil paintings. So the technique is just to be different and showing a different color palette. So I think that's the most important thing, And with my figuratives, I always love showing a different composition and a different lifestyle. So the body of work that I created, so there's a piece that I did. There's so many ways to fall in love again, 1 and 2. So it's a situation of, love, and spaces that you're very comfortable with, And I love playing pool, snooker, and I got a lot of inspiration from Ibanez, African-American artist. I think it's the artist that created the Sugar Shack of Marvin Gaye album. So yeah, that inspiration actually is like, there's certain ways to fall in love again, Like there's many aspects to show your intimacy with someone else, and to show that you really care about them, like from the things that they actually love doing. Could go to the movies, you could play pool, have a drink, eat some pasta, So those are like actually part of my livelihood and scenes of my experiences, So the themes that I create is mostly about love, and they're very important into my life. I think that's part of my identity, as a person, and I'm always welcoming, I'm always happy around people, and just creating those works, it kind of have a reflection of how my life and my situation of understanding what love is, because most of us don't even have the answer to get there. Is it about materialistic things? Is it about habits? Is it about understanding the person's belief system in his career? So that's actually like one of the most important. It's a question that most of us don't even have answers for, and we're trying to find ourselves from each and every experience that we get. We all have a different belief system, of how we express ourselves, So my expression, especially through figurative, it's about telling a story, untold stories from the past, from the present, moving to one place to another, because since I say like migration has also been part of my journey. And understanding, the universe, like what it actually needs. It needs creativity. It needs people like artists, people like me, to bring change into the society and also into the system. That with the careers that we're actually doing, it might be difficult to sustain your life, your finances and everything. But it's the belief system of not giving up, and having that perseverance. It's very important to show art from African descent, because there's a different cultural diversity that we're actually experiencing, since I'm from South Africa. And I'm capturing scenes that I'm actually aware of and that actually bring an influence into my life. So it's very important for the world to also understand the different types of art that we're doing, because I have a desire to create something which has a question also, it brings questions for the audience when they look at it. For us to have that group exhibition is so important to reflect on our identity and to reflect on understanding the purpose of life. What are my thoughts about abstract? Abstract has always been part of the Renaissance era, so it's been there from the 19th century to 20th. So there's Jackson Pollock also, so I knew that's the only abstract artist that I actually recognize the most. So it's a continuation, so I think it's something that most of us should appreciate, because it's actually self-expression, expressing your moods, your feelings, your your intimacy about everything in life, like how you understand life, So most of us don't understand abstract because we feel like it's not meaningful to, like when you view it. But if you look at it very carefully, there's a lot of, expression, man. There's very untold, and the color use, the technique, it's very important for the art, yeah. What does success mean to me? Hard work, a lot of focus. It means that I have a desire to achieve something, in the world, and I have a desire to tell a story in different aspects. Success, it's not even about, money. It's not even about, it's about things that you actually love, things that you actually desire with your life, things that are actually important. For me, having a family is a part of the success. Having someone still alive in your presence, friends, because we lost a lot of people in our lives from a very, and that's understanding that I'm so fortunately enough to still be alive and pushing my career of being an artist, which is something that I actually love. So doing something that you love is actually success to me. From the works that I've created for the show, my favorite piece, it's the title is There's So Many Reasons to Fall in Love Again. So it's two pieces of a male figure and a female figure, So they're actually looking at each other, So it's like there's a time where you need to impress, someone, in different ways. Take her to a club. That's part of my, experience and how my environment and the community that I'm actually around with. Pool. It's something that my father actually used to teach me. Especially because my dad used to love playing pool, used to love playing all the sports, So snooker was actually, part of something that I actually loved. And with the desire of that works, it was different because I never experienced any artists actually creating a series of pool, and I had to do a lot of research because since I'm a figurative painter, I always love to bring something different, So that's actually most important, yeah. The most challenging part was the oil painting. Yes, it takes a lot of time to dry, and it needs a lot of patience, and it needs a lot of, you need to be very free in floating with it, So yeah, that was the most challenging part. The most easiest part about creating these works, I had to go through things that I actually love doing, going out, going to a restaurant, go play pool. And in my pieces that I created, there's a lot of objects, because I understand that we're living a lot of objects. There's a figure that you can see, someone is actually very stressful inside, at the background, thinking about probably situations with his life, So there's a lot of objects, So that was the most, easiest, yeah. The most important lesson that I've learned in my career is, doing a lot of research is very important, and seeing how different can you be, and what kind of stories can you tell, and what kind of influence can you bring around the people and the viewers. And it's always very important that you express your feelings through your work and the things that you're actually going through, and and what kind of impact can you bring into the community and also to the society.